Hi everyone, I'm Miss Kyla. I'm one of the children's librarians at Santa Clara County Library. Today we are going to be making some really fun, colorful, and easy pop art dinos. Supplies needed for today's craft: black and white pages from discarded or old books, colorful pages from discarded graphic novels, magazines, or comics, scissors, pencil, regular sheet of paper, glue stick, Sharpie, sheet protectors, and dinosaur templates from Santa Clara County Library. Since we're going to be making pop art dinos, what is pop art? Pop art, or popular art, was a visual arts movement of the 1950s and 1960s in which artists often incorporated elements of everyday life, mass production, or pop culture, whether that be soup can labels, magazine advertisements, comic strips, or signage. Artwork could be paintings, screen printings, sculptures, or mixed media collages. Sometimes the art would be satirical of our materialistic culture or mass production. And other times it could be fun, bright, and colorful, a contrast to the serious, intellectual artwork of the past. One of the major artists of pop art was Andy Warhol, who would often take the same image and repeat it across his canvas using a technique called silk screening. Now, we're not going to be doing silk screening today, but we are going to trace, so we can get the same outline for our dinosaurs, no matter how many pop art dinos you want to make. Today's craft was also inspired by the works of Roy Lichtenstein and Rauschenberg. We're going to take techniques or elements from these different artists' works and collage them together to make our own mixed media pop art dinos. So, let's get started. Step 1. Rip up the pages from your discarded book or newspaper. Step 2. Glue your torn pieces of paper randomly onto a solid sheet of 8.5 by 11 paper, making sure to cover the entire paper. While we're gluing things down, I wanted to introduce pop artist Robert Rauschenberg. Robert Rauschenberg helped usher in the pop art movement, and his works influenced this part of the craft today. In the early 1950s, he created collage paintings using pieces of fabric, photos, and torn newspaper clippings. Then, in 1955, he started adding in objects from everyday life, like Coca-Cola bottles and traffic signs. Now you might be wondering, why are we using torn bits of paper and not just using the solid sheet of paper? Well, we're using the torn bits to create this awesome texture that comes from the torn edges of the pieces of paper, as well as the texture that's created visually from the lines of black and white text and images. And don't worry if your scraps are going over the edge of your 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, because we're going to trim that at the end. Now, we're going to let this dry, and while it's drying, we're going to choose a dinosaur from our dinosaur templates and cut them out. Note, you can also draw the outline of a dinosaur of your choice on a separate piece of paper and cut that one out. So for now, I think I'm gonna do the Brontosaurus. Trace your dino onto your book pages / newspaper collage. I know that they might be kind of hard to see on camera, but I've traced the outline of my dinosaur. Step 5. Cut out colorful sections of your discarded graphic novels / comics or magazines. Cut into small pieces. And my hint is to try to avoid any really dark areas. And if you don't want white, you can also trim off the white edges beforehand. And that way we're left with just the colorful areas. Now, fill in the outline of your dinosaur with your colorful pieces cut from those graphic novels or magazines. Don't worry too much about being exact. And then what you're going to do is you're going to glue everything down. While we're filling in the outline of our dino, the last artist that I wanted to mention, whose works influenced today's craft, was major pop art artist Roy Lichtenstein. Lichtenstein created his art by using mass-produced merchandising images. His oil paintings often depicted large frames of comic strips and cartoons that he reproduced by hand. He would also recreate famous paintings, but in a cartoon-like style that referenced the mass printing techniques of the day. For example, he would use Ben-Day dots to fill in areas of color. Again, we're not trying to stay precisely in the lines of the outline. We're just trying to get the basic shape of the dinosaur. Feel free to adjust pieces as you're gluing along. Again, we're not trying to be too precise. Just trying to fill in the inside of the dinosaur outline with some color and texture. And as you're gluing, you might be like, oh no, I don't like that piece there. Then that's totally fine. Just go ahead and move it. So while the glue is still wet, everything is very easy to move. After you finish gluing everything down, let it dry, then trim any excess of the black and white sheets of paper from around the edge of your 8.5 by 11 sheet. Now that our collage is dry, we're going to insert it into a plastic sheet protector. So it gets nice and shiny. And then we're going to place our dino template over our colorful pieces. Take a Sharpie and trace around the dino template to really outline our dinosaur. You might have to go over your Sharpie line 1 or 2 times just to make it really stand out. Now add any details you would like with a Sharpie, like an eye, a smile, or arms and claws. Then repeat with the same dino until you have a series of awesome pop art dinos. And after you're done, make sure to take a picture and post to our library art gallery right here at sccld.org/art-club-gallery. To learn more about pop art and the artists that we talked about today, check out our library website at sccld.org, where you will find online databases full of articles and images. So I hope you guys had a fun time today, and I can't wait to see your pop art dinos. Have a great day, everybody. Bye.